certainly pumping for the players. The fans have been wild for the past half hour as we're underway in a series where San Antonio is a heavy favorite. And Jeff, you've watched them throughout this postseason. What's been the most impressive thing about the Spurs?
Well, they've been so efficient offensively that they've dissected their opponent's defenses.
Duncan sees a triple team. Off to the veteran Michael Finley, playing in his first finals game. Knocks down his opening jumper.
And you like the way they come out early, get everybody involved, touching the basketball, and then Finley a high percentage shot, stepping into a J.
Offensive foul. Drew Gooden, a little over aggressive, trying to determine his post position. Knocked off Fabricio Oberto. And the first turnover for Mike Brown, the second youngest coach in the NBA, and a former Spurs assistant under Greg Popovich. What a terrific job he's done in this postseason. Meanwhile, San Antonio, they have not played since May 30th. 7 straight games, as we have a 3-second violation, offensive 3 seconds, so a turnover. They haven't played in 7 straight days. What kind of an impact does that have for Greg Popovich and his team?
Well, Popovich understands that the key thing, you got rest. Older basketball team, the oldest team in the league, and I think it pays off. You take care of business, you put yourself in a position to get rest and make sure you stay sharp, and they have done that.
Cavaliers have played well on the road in the postseason, 5-3 away from their comforts. James to the basket, nice feed. Ilgauskas, that was partially blocked by Duncan, but he was still able to finish.
And I like going into Ilgauskas early, particularly against Oberto. You've got to get some post-up opportunities for Gooden and Ilgauskas.
Parker to the basket. Tony Parker, as good as it gets, driving to the hoop.
And that's going to be a big problem for the Cleveland Cavaliers, containing Tony Parker. He is going to be able to get anywhere on the floor he wants. They have to keep him out of the paint.
Now, Cleveland, of course, the #1 reason they're here is LeBron James. But, Jeff, they're a team that has slowly become one of the better defensive teams in the league.
Right, everybody talks about San Antonio, and rightfully so. But I love the idea of how good Cleveland is defensively and rebounding-wise.
Meanwhile, good defense from Alberto as Ilgauskas throws up the air ball. Bruce Bowen off the dribble. And Gooden the rebound.
And you really have to give a lot of credit to Mike Brown, because last year I thought they were a bad defensive team, but they really sold out, made a commitment on the defensive end, and because of that, they are here.
Sasha Pavlovich knocks down the shot. They will need the perimeter jumpers to fall in order to beat these Spurs team. But what are the keys? They're in the underdogs in this series, Jeff. What are the keys for Cleveland?
Well, LeBron James has got to beat Dwayne Wade from last year in the finals. Be a dominant player, and then he's got to have them, LeBron James, he's got to set the tone defensively and on the board. He's a tremendous defensive rebounder as Duncan dunks it off the pick and roll.
And a superb bounce pass from Tony Parker. What's fun about both these teams, their stars are so unselfish, and it just filters down throughout the roster.
When you have star players that's willing passes, they want to give the basketball up. That attitude, that approach is contagious.
Gooden to the basket. And Drew Gooden, who's capable of giving a double-double, able to get his first 2.
I like the mindset of the Cavs offensively. Attacking the first time, LeBron gets Ilgauskas a basket, and that time Drew Gooden to the hoop.
Spurs come in having won 6 of their last 7 playoff games, and Parker so easily gets to the rim again.
So first 4 plays, Tony Parker in pick-and-roll situations, and that time in the ISO. They have to have help defense and try to contain Tony Parker.
James spinning, the fall away. He loves that shot. Not that time. Finley tips it to the teammate. Parker again, inside, puts it in. Oh, beautiful shot from Tony Parker. 3 for 3 from the field.
Cleveland's got to get their offensive players on the floor so they can score enough, but who's going to guard Parker at the other end? Larry Hughes, bad foot, and truly a 2 guard is trying to guard Parker.
Oh, nice tip in from Pavlovich. Now Hughes hurt himself in Game 3 of the Eastern Conference Finals against Detroit. Suffered a plantar fascia strain. That's one of the new injuries that we've heard over the last couple of years. He is far from 100% and one of their best defenders. Duncan, easy bucket.
But you look at the adjustment right away. Mike Brown switches and puts LeBron James on Tony Parker. They don't change the mission in San Antonio. It's still pick-and-roll basketball, and they pick you apart.
They are 6 of 7 from the field. I would say that's picking you apart. And most of them Our layups, Gooden, nice fake, and Gooden able to knock it down. He can be feast or famine offensively, and if he gets a shot going, it can be a huge boost.
I just want the hair on the back of his head.
The small tuft of hair from Gooden. Parker, not that time, and Ilgauskas the rebound. How about, we talk about Eric Snow, the only player that has finals experience, but they have a lot of playoff experience, obviously, this year. Nice feed into Ilgauskas, and he can't get it to fall. Is there that much of a difference as the Spurs will get it between playing in the finals and playing in the earlier rounds?
Well, there's a difference. The Spurs are a proven basketball team. They've been on this stage before, but a lot of times it works for you also because you have a bunch of guys that don't know any better. You have a bunch of guys not afraid of the moment, and they're on a high right now, extremely confident, coming off of beating the Detroit Pistons in the Eastern Conference Finals.
And here you see Snow, who played with Philadelphia in the 2001 finals, and with Seattle as a backup in the 96 finals. He's the only one to play in the championship round. And now they've made a switch. LeBron James is guarding Tony Parker as Manu Ginobili, their six-man extraordinaire, comes into the game for the first time. Duncan, boy, they're not missing. What a start.
But if I'm Cleveland, I'm happy he makes that first bank shot because I want him to face up and shoot the jumper all night long instead of post deep and get to the rim.
And I agree with that 100%. You don't want to allow Tim Duncan to dominate the paint area. Force him to be a jump shooter like you defend Shaq. Make him make moves.
Pavlovic, nice move, but it won't go down, and Duncan a rebound. Duncan has been brilliant in the playoffs, as has Parker. Blocked, but a foul. As Parker and Pavlovic go down hard, and Parker shaken up. His fiancée, married next month, the wedding. Eva Longoria wants to look at the replay. I think she just muttered, "Get up, please."
Well, two things. There has to be a price paid for a little guy pushing the ball up the floor. Tony Parker drawing the contact and going to the line, but he certainly gets up slow. The Cleveland Cavaliers have to get back defensively, converge as a five-man defensive unit, and stop Tony Parker collectively.
Pavlovic good help but late, and he goes down hard. They are getting married 1 month from today. Think anybody's getting cold feet?
Oh, certainly watching Tony Parker, he has no cold feet. He has hot hands.
He has been hot throughout the playoffs, and in the past couple of years, he's made the All-Star team each of the last 2 seasons. He has become one of the premier guards in the league.
There's no better finisher for a small man since Tiny Archibald.
As Duncan pushed, Parker missed both, but Duncan will get a chance for 2 as Gooden picks up his first. That's a long time ago.
That is. Think about Tiny Archibald. Led the league in scoring and assists in 1 year.
And what I love about Tony Parker is he has a chip on his shoulders. They talk about everybody you want, but at the end of the day, I'm going to be the last guy standing. Continues to get it done.
And there you see Tim Duncan, #1 in all the Spurs category. Of course, the most important category, 3 rings and 3 finals MVPs. Every year he's been to the finals, he's been the most valuable player. He has been on and off shooting his free throws. It's been the one weakness in his game. He's made some clutch ones during the playoffs and also obviously missed some as well. And you see the numbers down the last couple of years. Several years ago, he had one excellent season where he shot almost 80%. Right now, though, his team has a 6-point lead.
And here's something that's interesting. Tony Parker not only forcing the issue offensively against Larry Hughes, but because of the hobbled foot that Hughes has, picking him up full court and making him work. So now LeBron James catches the ball with just 10 seconds on the shot clock.
James inside, blocked by Duncan. 4 on the shot clock. James for 3, won't go. And Ilgauskas the rebound. It's still Cleveland ball. The Cavs are an excellent offensive rebounding team, one of their strengths. As we'll have our first timeout. Duncan and his defense.
Oh, we talk about him being the best. It's not just on one end. Defensively says that LeBron, not on my watch. Get it out of here. And Tony Parker continuing to dominate the paint area, finishing at the rim. Blow-bys in transition. Tony Parker, happy wedding day.
Well, he hasn't made him perfect, but he certainly helped make him an all-star.
Here's what I love about it. A great coach is like a great parent. Don't be satisfied. Continue to love, continue to nurture, but also be demanding. And you look at the final results, and you can't argue with Tony Park.
James misses. He's 0 for 4. They doing anything special on him early?
Just making him shoot jump shots.
Nice move, Duncan. Can't get it to fall. Alberto's tip won't go, and Ilgauskas the rebound. Anderson Varejao, big energy man, the 6th man for Cleveland. He's in the game. Both teams have solid benches. Shot clock down to 5. Pavlovich up and under. Duncan's presence altering that shot.
I like Pavlovich attacking the rim, but he's got to finish with more strength than that one where he double clutched it.
Ilgauskas stays on Duncan this time. Back out, Parker. He's been dead-eye most of the playoffs, way off that time. And the Cavs come the other way. James. Again, Bruce Bowen on James is going to be one of the fun matchups to watch throughout the series. One of the premier perimeter defenders, maybe the best, as Hughes misfires, and Duncan with another rebound.
And when you talk about Bruce Bowen, I think he's the best defender in all of basketball from the perimeter. Playing against the best, the guy's job is simply to make LeBron James beat him from the outside.
Right back down to Duncan. Bowen, that's his favorite spot. But a whistle beforehand. And we'll go the other way. Foul will go against Alberto, so that's his first. And Alberto will come out, and Robert Horry will come in. Horry looking for his 7th championship ring. What an amazing career he's had. 2 with Houston, 2 with the Lakers, 2 with the Spurs. Only Kareem Abdul-Jabbar has played in more playoff games than Horry. Horry can break that mark next year if he continues to play. Ball kicked by Ginobili. Again, just to correct you, Horry with the 3 with the Lakers and 1 with the Spurs, trying to make it his 2nd with San Antonio.
If you look at the defense from the Spurs, Ginobili running at LeBron James. They're not allowing him to dance single-handedly against Bruce Bowen. They are forcing him to give up the basketball.
And fresh off the bench, Daniel Gibson knocks it down. They call him Booby, the rookie from Texas, who threw up 31 against Detroit in Game 6 to clinch the Eastern Conference Championship. You talk about a young man playing with confidence.
And that's the way you buy LeBron James airspace. Knock down shots and you slow down the rotation. They stay at home on you and it'll allow LeBron James to play one-on-one.
Ginobili for 3. And Pavlovich long rebound. Well, despite missing 7 shots in a row, Cavs only down by 3 as we come up on 3 minutes remaining. Daniel Marshall has checked in. Varejao poked away by Duncan. Ginobili to the rim, right-handed. Duncan started it down the other end. Jacques Vaughn has come in. A good steady backup and an excellent defender. James with the shot clock winding down, spinning, inside pass, Varejao blocked by Duncan, his 2nd. Stripped and a 24-second violation. Duncan already with a couple of blocks and a couple of steals, and the Spurs will get another standing ovation. LeBron James scoreless so far. The defense has been superb.
Getting it done on the defensive end. Tim Duncan with the strip. Ginobili, excuse me, fellas, all the way to the rim, finishing away from the defense, eliminating the jumping ability of LeBron James. The Spurs are rolling, and it starts on the D.
This kind of game, Mike, he said, we can show that we can grind too.
All right, Stu. Michelle mentioned that the series sweep of the 2 games from Cleveland. Can that have any impact on the Cavs saying, hey, we can beat this team?
I don't think it, because it's so early in the year, but what I do think it does, it gets San Antonio's attention as Duncan travels. I think it gives Greg Popovich great ability to teach his team what needs to be done. And Popovich has a great term, appropriate fear. He always says the Spurs play their best when they have appropriate fear of their opponent.
He makes sure that they have some fear.
He puts fear in me.
Bowen right up on James. There's the help defense right away from Duncan. Marshall, an open look, won't go. Ginobili tips it, and Duncan comes away. Those are the shots they really are going to have to hit if they want to win some games.
They really do. You see the strategy of the Spurs, get the ball out of the hands of LeBron James and force him to be a playmaker. Now what has to develop, like in the Detroit series, those other guys knock down shots, and that's why they won.
Duncan, here's the double. Jacque Vaughn steps up, won't go. And James the rebound. Again, James is scoreless, yet they're only down 5. That was one of the effective things as he goes to the rim and draws the foul. Game 6 against Detroit, he was only 3 for 11, and they still win one going away. Right now, let's take a look at the Fantastic Four to watch. For us, it's going to be LeBron James and the big 3 for San Antonio. If all 3 are operating on all cylinders for the Spurs, they're almost impossible to beat.
If all 3 guys are rolling, you might as well turn out the lights, because that means they're effective and they're dominating the paint area, and with Ginobili, they're getting to the line.
And if you have 4 guys and 3 of them are on one team, no wonder they're the favorite.
Ginobili, of course, off the bench has been such a spark. Duncan getting his rest along with Parker right now. And James with his first points.
And I think it's important to note that the great perimeter players, the defenses can load up on you in a series in the half court. What James did to get to the line there, got the ball in transition, attacked before the defense was set, just like Parker did at the other end.
And the way you do that is by getting stops on the defensive end, so it allows you to get going in transition.
Ginobili splits the defenders but lost the ball. Ori right there, knocked out of his hands. Vaughn with a quick jumper. Big bucket from Jacque Vaughn. That's gravy when he's able to give him some offense as well.
Oh, he's a bonus. He's a solid backup that comes in, gives great defense, and then runs the team. When he's knocking that shot down, you can put him in even longer.
Alberto knocks down James, lost the ball, no call. Marshall, though, able to come up with it. Drives underneath. Offensive foul. Robert Horry draws the charge.
Say LeBron James trying to do the right thing. A lot of contact by Alberto. LeBron James chasing down the loose ball, but he has a case. Certainly a lot of contact, but he's doing the right thing, looking to attack the paint.
That's not a lot of contact. That's a hard foul.
I'm the king. Give me a call.
And down the other way, Horry does an excellent job stepping in. Robert Horry so much more than just a three-point shooter. Ginobili, the step back. And James the rebound, been averaging over 8 a game. Bruce Bowen heading back to the locker room, but no trainer in pursuit, so that usually means it's a bathroom break. A little over a second difference between game clock and shot clock. James, shot clock at 2, offensive foul.
And that's great defense. I think that time LeBron held the ball a little too long. As soon as he takes the double team, you've done your job. Get rid of the basketball. Trying to take 2 guys. The Spurs are too good defensively. Jacque Vaughn and Ginobili smothers him. Get rid of the basketball. You have a shooter in Damon Jones sitting on a shot. Deliver it to him.
Or just shoot the pull-up yourself. They're backed off so far in such a cushion. Just rise up, even though you haven't made your first couple jump shots.
Plenty of time to get off a decent shot. Ginobili puts up a 2-pointer. Won't go, and there's the buzzer. Now the Cavaliers missed 9 of their last 10, but are only down by 5. LeBron James still without a field goal. Meanwhile, Tim Duncan and Tony Parker doing most of the damage for the San Antonio Spurs. First quarter complete of game 1. Spurs by 5.
50%. They've dominated the paint area, but you are in a position that if things go well and you knock down shots, continue to be solid, you have to be satisfied.
Cavs just 33% from the field, 50% for San Antonio. And again, LeBron James with a couple of free throws, but no field goals. James, Daniel Gibson, Anderson, Varejao, Damon Jones as well out there, and Daniel Marshall. That's a two-pointer. Varejao the rebound, back up and in. And that's where the Cavs can be tough on the offensive glass.
Well, they posted James. They drew a double team. Again, great vision to skip the ball across the court. And because San Antonio was in rotation, it opened up the second shot opportunity for Varejao, as you see him finish strong here with Ori and a possible three-point play.
Varejao, just 24 years old, from Brazil, in his third year in the league, a high-energy player who's become a fan favorite in Cleveland and a big impact player for the Cavaliers. Michael Finley. Finley, Ginobili, Ori, Alberto, and Vaughn for San Antonio. Shot clock down to 5. Good defense from the Cavs. Finley way downtown, in and out. And the ball tipped out of bounds. Cavs have it.
That's a solid defensive trip by the Cavs. Here's what I like about the way that they're playing offense also. LeBron James almost looks like your big brother trying to get the little guys involved. Getting touches for his little brothers. Those guys knocking down shots is only going to stretch the floor for him.
Ginobili single coverage. Here comes the double team. Nice feed inside. Varejao complaining he got fouled. Looked like there was some contact. Vaughn on the penetration. Gets it to Finley. Finley. And Alberto, a loose ball foul pushed off. And that's his second, as Tony Parker will return for the Spurs.
That's really why the reason the Cavs think they can win this series, because defensively, they can contain the Spurs. Excellent defense, 2 straight trips, and then finish it off by boxing out.
And right now, let's send it over to Stuart Scott.
Mike, at the end of the first quarter, Eric Snow was playing coach in the locker room. He was telling his teammates, hey, look, they got fast break points, they got dunks, they got points in transition, and we're still only down 5. He said, we only had 2 fast break points, guys. All we have to do is get some stops, and we'll be fine. Mike?
Meanwhile, Stu, Manu Ginobili with the foul. That's his first. And the Cavs will inbound.
That tells me that Eric Snow is listening to the telecast.
Well, let's hope not. Snow, who you get a feeling is going to be a coach when he retires as a player.
Well, there's no question about it. He is really one of the assistant coaches on the bench. Does a great job being an extension of the coach on the floor and really reiterates the game plan.
Ginobili, stolen by Gibson. Gibson goes to the basket and lays it in beautifully. Daniel Gibson, just a second-round pick. Played limited minutes during the regular season, averaged less than 5 points per game, but he is starting to become a special player for the Cavaliers in this postseason.
And young kids look and learn. Realize that Michael Finley was chasing on his right shoulder, kept the ball in his left hand the whole time down the floor, and then finished at the rim.
Marshall with the deflection. Here comes James. Good transition defense from San Antonio, which Greg Popovich said is one of the real keys to the series. Bad pass deflected off the rim, and a turnover. That's the 6th for Cleveland. That's been a key for them in the postseason. Second in the playoffs in fewest turnovers per game.
I like LeBron trying to get rid of the basketball, but the way that he is being defended, they are daring him to shoot jump shots. At some point, he is going to have to step up and knock down shots because those are easy shots for him.
But he never seems to, or rarely, should say never, force the action. He lets the game come to him. He's reading the defense. He's seeing 2 and 3 guys come out every time he goes to the rim.
Well, when you share the ball as well as he does, some will always be critical of you if you pass in what they think is too much. I think James does a great job in getting his teammates involved early and then now being a better closer late.
Parker misses, and the Spurs have suddenly gone cold a bit. And as Cleveland within 1, almost 3 minutes gone by here in the second. They've missed 10 of their last 12, San Antonio. James on a pull-up. Ginobili the long rebound.
And that's a good shot. Sends the screen away because he does not want to be trapped. And excellent defense on the other end.
Another steal for Daniel Gibson. Not only can hit the three, but he's a pesky defender. Nice feed and a hard foul. Duncan trying to claim that the foul is on Varejao, but that's the second foul on Tim Duncan. So Duncan with 2 personals. Free throws coming up for the Cavs. They're only down by 1.
Thanks for watching the NBA on ABC, home of the NBA Finals.
Chip and others, Greg Popovich, who has done such an outstanding job, and we talk so much about Duncan, and rightfully so, but what that man has done with his franchise, 3 titles, has been simply amazing.
I just wonder why I had to go see Mark in Brooklyn. Why couldn't he have been from the Bahamas or someplace nice like St. Croix?
Could have met him at Coney Island or Rockaway Beach or something.
I'll tell you what, though, Greg Popovich is a Hall of Fame basketball player, an absolute genius. And if he knew then what he knows now about Tim Duncan, he'd be in the beach playing Marco Polo with him.
Of course, since Duncan has been here, the Spurs have the best winning percentage of any team over the last 10 years in the 4 major sports. And he is the #1 reason, and Popovich will tell you that he's the #1 reason.
But I also think Greg Popovich has far too little ego on that. He is, if Duncan is answer 1 is Duncan's fouled inside. If the reason for their success is Duncan first, Greg Popovich has to be a close second because of the culture and environment he has set up here.
I couldn't agree with you more.
Meanwhile, as we've been talking about all the Spurs and their championships, of course, David Robinson won a couple. The Cavs have taken their first lead of the game as they're up by 1 early in the second quarter. Duncan back to the line, where he's now 3 for 3. Of course, you can see every game of these NBA Finals right here on ABC. 8:30 Eastern, we kick off our coverage. And shortly after 9 Eastern, tip-off. Game 2 will be Sunday. Of course, it's a 2-3-2 format. Tuesday's game is in Cleveland, as is Game 4, and if necessary, a Game 5. And then, if necessary, the final 2 games back here in San Antonio. Do you like that change in the format?
I don't. I never like it when the road team can have played more home games than the team with home court advantage. I think it's unfair to the team with the better record.
Of course, with East-West 2-2-1-1-1, sometimes tough on the travel. As Gibson back out.
Yeah, it's really tough to take those chartered flights with steak and lobster.
Parker comes the other way. The Spurs leading by 1. And Barry's come in for the first time. As has Francisco Elson. And Duncan, the banker, won't go. Use the rebound.
And once again, great defense by Ilgauskas, making Tim Duncan a jump shoot.
Greg Popovich says that the Cavs are the most underrated defensive team in the league. Ilgauskas inside, up and under, can't get it. Blocked that time. As Duncan with his 4th block here in the first half. Barry, they're going to credit that block to Finley. As Barry floats it in, offensive foul. And Varejao going to charge. Varejao leads the NBA in charges per 48 minutes. He's always giving up his body. He's also one of the better floppers in the NBA, but he is not afraid to take the hits.
And I can remember about a week ago arguing with Coach when he said that the Cavs are a great defensive team. I thought he was stretching, and I said, oh, they're very good. But watching this team, there's no question about the change in the mentality defensively. They get it now.
Well, they protect both the paint and they don't allow a lot of three-point shots. So they make you take, as Pavlovich knocks it in, they make you take 2-point contested jump shots.
Sasha Pavlovich, another young and up-and-coming player, 4th year out of Serbia and Montenegro, who's become an integral part this year. He was a spot player first couple of years with Cleveland, but inserted into the starting lineup and has produced. Shot clock down to 5. Parker with a hand in his face. Good defense again. Elson gets him a new 24. Triple team. Finley, wide open 3. In and out, and good in the rebound.
What I don't agree with is triple teaming Tim Duncan in that situation. Ilgauskas was doing a solid job not allowing him to get into a threatening area.
Hughes. And gets the fall. Larry Hughes, you can tell he's not 100%. But he's out there, knocks down that shot. And a timeout. You see the Spurs 0 for 6 in the second. And they've missed 13 of their last 15. There's LeBron James greeting his teammates. Loves the way they've come back. San Antonio came out early, quickly went up by 6. But the Cavs have stormed back, a 9-point turnaround. They lead by 3 here in the second.
Explaining to his guys, settle down. We're the better team, and this is a 7-game series. The first team to win 4.
Meanwhile, the Cavs have certainly settled down. Their defense has been superb. Parker gets inside again. Count it, and a foul. So tough going to the basket.
But I don't like that closeout by Drew Gooden in rotation off the double team of Duncan. He charged at Parker like Parker was a range shooter. He's also made some defensive mistakes as we see him close out and allow Parker to get to his strength, his right hand into the basket. He's also made, Drew Gooden has, some rotation mistakes on the pick and roll. He's got to shore up his defense.
Parker off the missed free throw with his teardrop. And nothing drives our man Jeff Hickman be more crazy than that.
I wish the people at home could see this guy slapping the table, just upset. You're a real coach.
Throwing his papers.
I just don't understand what is so hard about concentrating on dead ball situations. Who's got the shooter?
Ilgauskas inside, misses. And again, those along the lane, they can go on the release. Oh, what a pass! And also the finish. And a foul. Tony Parker threading the needle. And a chance for a three-point play.
So you talk about him finishing at the rim, and then is there any other place that that ball could have been delivered? Tony Parker getting it done, looking like Steve Nash, but he's the one standing, threading the needle. Elson running the break, finishing with the contact, and going to the line for the possible three-point play.
Parker with his 3rd assist, and Elson in his first year with San Antonio, good solid player off the bench from the Netherlands. First 3 years in the league with Denver, they signed him as a free agent. He's been part of their two-headed center. And a 7-0 run now by San Antonio in the blink of an eye. Pavlovich. Nice move, can't finish. Ilgauskas lost it. Finley comes away. Parker inside. Oh, Duncan. Tony Parker making things happen.
The guy can get anywhere he wants on the floor because of his speed. When he developed the outside jump shot, he became unguardable.
Timeout Cavs. Standing ovation again for the Spurs. Years ago, you saw Bill Walton and the Portland Trailblazers winning the championship with Hall of Fame coach Jack Ramsey. Portland's one and only championship. Cavs trying to get their first championship. LeBron James inside, knocked away by Duncan. 7 on the shot clock. Ilgauskas, Verjao mauled by Finley. And he'll shoot some free throws. We mentioned, of course, the Cavs looking for their first NBA championship. The city of Cleveland, such a great, great sports town. It's been a long time since they've won a championship in any of the professional sports, way back 1964 when the Browns, and after winning the Eastern Conference Championship, the celebration in that city and the joy was such a sight to behold from the players and the fans. They have Cavs fever, and they can't wait for Game 3.
It makes sense why they went crazy when they realized that they won the position to select LeBron James, because this guy has not disappointed. An absolute stud as a basketball player. and he is the reason why they are here with a chance to win it all.
All year long, he has ended huddles by saying it was his idea, 1, 2, 3 championship. Some of the players said, you know, sometimes we weren't that into it, but he's been into it all season long. As a foul on the pass off. Ilgauskas picks up the personal. That's his first. They're not in the penalty yet. 14th foul. You shoot on the 5th in each quarter. And you see 0 for 6. Only 2 free throws. And they're only down by 5.
And if you're LeBron James, you're not concerned. If you're Mike Brown, you're not concerned. It's about the other guys making plays. LeBron is able and good enough to get a shot when he wants. He can catch fire. He is consciously making an effort to get other guys involved.
Parker, Finley, Duncan. Shot clock winding down. Ilgauskas, good defense. Used the rebound. Larry Hughes running up the court with a slight limp. Again, that plantar fascia, he just does not look right. As James gets inside, short ball tipped and taken by Parker. Parker, the teardrop. Ball tip, won't go. Out of bounds. Spurs get a new 24. And Ginobili reports back in.
When you look at the help defense, LeBron James is not allowed to play one-on-one because the Spurs are sending 2 and 3 guys at him at all times. He has to make plays over 3 or 4 Spurs defenders.
In the clinching game 6 against the Pistons, he didn't have his first field goal till the 3rd quarter. And that victory in Cleveland to send them to the NBA Finals. He's 0 for 7 right now.
Well, as great as LeBron was in Game 5 against the Detroit Pistons, they were willing participants. They allowed him to dominate the paint area and make plays.
Bowen misses. Elson tips it out. Elson and Alberto both very adept at that. Won't get the rebound, but they'll give another possession to their team. Ilgauskas working hard on Duncan. Here's the double. Parker to the basket. 12 points for Tony Parker.
And again, other than LeBron James, no one has defended Parker well. They're playing him wrong. He's getting by them. Make him shoot jump shots. I love where James is picking it up. I love where he's making him shoot the ball over the top.
Well, if you're Mike Brown, at some point you might want to consider inserting Eric Snow into this ball game. The best on-ball defender in a Cleveland Cavaliers uniform and the one guy that has a chance of keeping Tony Parker in front of him.
Parker again, the teardrop. Short, Pavlovich the rebound. This is the largest lead of the first half for the San Antonio Spurs. Pavlovich, nice move. Good hard drive to the basket.
Great job of changing gears. Lulled them to sleep by slowing down and exploded to the basket with the finish.
Sometimes it just shows you. Young rookies, he came in the league very young. It takes time to be an efficient player in this league. He's got it now.
Ginobili. Shot clock at 5. Duncan, turn around, knocks it down. 14 points, 6 rebounds, and 4 block shots for Tim Duncan.
That is the same exact move old man put on me at the YMCA. I was so upset.
James to the basket, draws the foul. A nice array from Tim Duncan.
I mean, come on, this is a 52 fake out. The handoff, Ginobili sells it, and then where you going, Virgil? Duncan with a foul shot. That's a solid move. I'm still looking for that old guy.
Hello, that's a travel? He caught it with his right foot as the pivot foot, then he put his left foot down, and then he swung his right foot up off the floor. When you take 3 steps, that's a pretty good advantage.
Meanwhile, James to the free throw line where he's got all of his points, just 2 of them. And his team down by 7. That's that one. Reminder, you want to hear what the coaches and players have to say about tonight's finals game? Log on to NBA.com immediately following the game for the live press conferences and video highlights of the Cavaliers and the Spurs exclusively on NBA.com.
This is a crucial stretch right now for the Cavs. Tim Duncan off the floor. You cannot allow Tony Parker and Ginobili to dominate in pick and roll and isolation situations. Force other guys to beat you.
James, who at times struggled from the free throw line this season, is 4 for 4 here in the first half. And again, his Cavs back within 5. Robert Horry has returned. Parker pass deflected. Still Spurs ball with 12 on the shot clock.
I'm going to tell you, early in his career, I thought LeBron James was a disinterested defensive player. I'm watching him. He's into it. He's in a stance. He's being very disciplined on Tony Parker right now, and he's making it difficult on him.
And I think when he clicked the switch as far as that mentality, it became contagious. Other guys' sense of urgency on the defensive end elevated.
And Mike Brown has brought that mindset. The defensive coach, Parker, misses. And Daniel Gibson, the rebound. Gibson has done a good job off the bench. Marshall, a good look. Hits a three. Daniel Marshall from downtown, and it's a two-point game.
And people said, hey, LeBron James, how many points does he have to score in order for the Cavs to win this series? It doesn't matter. He has to be a guy that makes the proper play. That time, coming off the pick and roll, gets rid of the basketball, and Daniel Marshall rewarded in the corner.
Ginobili finding Ori. Inside pass. Elson has good position and banks it in. Good, hard, aggressive move.
Many times when you're guarding a pick and roll, your bigs inside lose track of their men. That time Elson ducked in and got it deep in the paint.
Now Bowen goes back on James. He's seen a host of defenders already. Marshall, pass deflected out of bounds by Ginobili. Daniel Marshall, another one of those guys. He is so happy to be in the finals. 34 years old. His 13th year in the league. He's played for 6 teams. The first 11 years of his career, he played in 9 total playoff games. Last 2 years with the Cavs, he's played in 28, and now in his first NBA Finals, and knocks down a three-pointer. As we have a 20-second timeout. You know, you talked about LeBron James playing defense, and there's still room for improvement there, but he's improved a great deal already.
Here he locks and trails, follows Parker, chasing him. Good support by the rest of the Cavs, but just not allowing Parker to get all the way to the rim. He's been by far their most effective defender on Parker. Larry Hughes is too hobbled to be able to guard the quickness of Tony Parker.
Again, when Mike Brown came here, he said he became a defensive coach in his 3 years as an assistant under Greg Popovich. He was part of the team that won the 2003 championship. They were not a good defensive team when he first came here. Slowly that turned around. They won 50 games last year in the regular season, made it to the Eastern Conference semifinals, a Game 7. This year, even better defensively, and they're here in the NBA Finals. But he gives a lot of that credit to Popovich.
And defensively is the reason why they're only down 4 in this first half. They've gotten it done defensively and given themselves a chance.
Gibson inside, banks it in. Boobie Gibson with a pretty move.
What you call me?
That's too good a nickname to pass up. He looks like he's about 14 years old. He's just 21. And a timeout from Popovich with 14.1 seconds remaining. Wants to set up a good final shot to end the half. His team right now just up by 2 here in Game 1. James is guarding Parker. Eric Snow has checked in for the first time. He's on Finley. Parker, Ginobili for 3. It's good. 1.9 remaining. James tosses it up. That will not count even if it goes.
Shots. I said, what did you say to LeBron about going 0 for 7? He looked at me, he smiled and said, I didn't say anything. He knows what he's got to do. He's got to get it done. Eric Snow did say that he's going to tell LeBron that LeBron is thinking it too much. He said, don't think, just play. Mike?
Well, Stu, a big part of it, he just certainly has stepped up in terms of the type of defense he's facing from the previous rounds, with all due respect to those other teams, including the Pistons.
Well, the San Antonio Spurs are getting it done on the defensive end. They're just playing the numbers, not allowing it to be the LeBron James show. If you're facing Barry Bonds, you walk him. If you're facing LeBron James, you double and triple team.
Alberto, the offensive rebound. Inside to Duncan, and a foul. Duncan will get a chance for the three-point play, but it was Alberto's hustle to keep that ball alive.
Extra possessions, whether it be off of a rebound, off of a turnover, it will kill you. The San Antonio Spurs does a great job of picking you apart, getting the ball, and getting high percentage shots.
Well, Duncan goes to the line. Alberto, of course, Manu Ginobili's teammate for the Argentina's national team, the Olympic gold medal winners in 2004. Another rebound. off a missed free throw.
I have officially had it.
Finley can't connect. And again, the thing is, the shooter at the free throw line, he has to wait till the ball hits the rim. Everybody else can go in on the release, so it really should never happen.
The two guys on the outside have got to come in and pinch and get the free throw line rebound.
James misses 0 for 8. But he still, despite it, he still looks relaxed out there in terms of trying to find his teammates and not forcing the action.
Well, there's no sense in him panicking because he's just playing basketball. They're making him a jump shooter and they're double and triple team. So he has to make the right play.
Ilgauskas makes the right defensive play, and Larry Hughes comes down the other end. Hughes on the pull-up. Larry Hughes is an explosive, quick player. He just does not have it. You can tell he's playing. You appreciate him gutting it out, but he's hurting out there with that left foot.
Give him a lot of credit because a lot of other guys might have folded to 10, but he is a gamer. He's trying to inspire his team. At some point, though, you have to get some healthy bodies in there.
Duncan saves it, but right to James. LeBron James dribbles it off his leg. He says, wait a minute, it's off Duncan. None of the guys with the whistles agree with him.
But that is his best chance to get all the way to the basket early in the shot clock in transition.
James now on Parker once again, whereas Hughes is guarding Bowen. Finley. Good defense from Pavlovich. Shot clock down to 3. Bad pass behind Duncan. Turnovers, that's 8 for San Antonio, and Cleveland has 7. Gooden. Nice turnaround shot from Drew Gooden. His 3rd field goal, and it's back to 5.
I tell you what, Drew Gooden is as big a key as anybody as to why the Cavs are in the finals. The way that he played in the playoffs, the Eastern Conference, really was great basketball and set the tone on the defensive end.
Again, he's had some pretty big games, some double-double games. Alberto lines it up, won't go, and James a rebound, his 5th. But still looking for his first field goal. Hughes, Pavlovich fires a 3. And Duncan with his 9th rebound. Is a slow pace like this, does that favor either of the two teams?
I don't think it favors either team. I think what you have to do, both teams are defensive-oriented teams. You get stops and you push the ball in transition. The team that puts together a run is going to be a team that gets something going on the offensive end in fast breaks with the basket.
The transition defense from both teams has been very good.
Particularly San Antonio against LeBron James.
Nice wraparound pass, but Ilgauskas couldn't hold on. Duncan helping to poke it away. Parker in the paint, to the basket, banks it in.
See, that's on Larry Hughes to try to keep him in front, but Ilgauskas was late as the trailer on defense to shut off that seam.
Even in that fast break, you look at Tim Duncan running the floor, does not get the basketball, but he eliminates the help and gives Tony Parker room to play one-on-one.
Gooden does not settle for the jumper, slams it home, and Drew Gooden with 8 points.
Every pick and roll, they're putting 2 on LeBron James. He gives it up. It's opening up opportunities for players like Gooden.
Cavs briefly had a lead in the first half. Spurs, though, have led most of the game. Parker knocks down the jumper. That's what's made him go to the next level.
Absolutely, but that's good defense by LeBron James. Why is he so successful so far guarding Tony Parker? Because he's making him a jump shooter. You can live with him knocking down jump shots.
Parker and Duncan each with 16. James to the basket, inside, banks it in, and there's his first field goal after missing his initial 8 shots from the field. Just like Game 6 against Detroit, took him to the 3rd quarter to get it. And his team certainly able to pick up the slack in other ways.
You're LeBron James. You should be the happiest guy on the floor right now. Not getting it going offensively, but you are in a position where you can take over this basketball game and put together a run.
I think the guys who are up by 5 are a little happier right now.
And here you see a great trip by Ilgauskas. You wouldn't call that a screen. Incidental contact, LeBron James all the way to the rim. Again, that was the second pick and roll in that possession. The second pick and roll is harder to guard than the initial one.
James finding Ilgauskas. He's got good range. Not that time, Ginobili the rebound.
Making the right play. Pick and roll basketball, two guys comes, gets Ilgauskas a wide open jump shot.
Cavs shooting just 36%. Alberto kicks it out. Bowen for three. Knocks it down. The defensive specialist also can hit some big three-pointers, and the Spurs have their largest lead of the game. Coming up on the midway point of the third. Ilgauskas, another good look. Another miss. Rebound, Gooden, back up and in. And there's the offensive board work from Gooden, one of the best in the NBA in offensive rebounding.
Keeping the ball alive and then finishing over the contested hand of Tim Duncan.
And Greg Popovich calls timeout. His team has led most of this game. And the points in the paint. Cavaliers, though, doing a decent job creating off those turnovers. Parker, alley-oop to Ginobili. Didn't have the handle, but still able to chip it in.
And that's a play they got from the Argentinian national team. They run that all the time for Ginobili on his national team, and there Parker threw a perfect lob.
That's where he's the Tim Duncan of that team. The main option. Gooden misses, but he drew the foul. Ilgauskas' tip won't go. Instead, Gooden will go to the line.
And this is just good recognition. The handoff and is a setup play. Ginobili sets up, lulls to sleep, explodes to the basket. The fine delivery from Tony Parker, and Ginobili finished.
Foul down the other end on Alberto. Gooden will go to the line. Gooden again could be such a key player. He made a Final Four in college with Kansas, played 3 years in Kansas. The 4th overall pick back in 2002 with Memphis, and went to Orlando his first 2 years. This now his 3rd year with the Cavs. He has led the NBA in trade rumors in the past couple of years, but they re-signed him this summer. He was so happy to stay in Cleveland. His dad played pro ball over in Finland for many years, grew up in the Bay Area, credits his dad for where he is today. But he's just happy to stay with the Cavs. He was rumored to go to a lot of different places before the trading deadlines the past couple of years. Duncan, banker won't go. Rebound knocked out of bounds. Last touch by either James or Gooden. It's Spurs ball.
And what a lopsided trade that was for Cleveland. Not only did they get Gooden, they also got the rights to Varejao for Tony Battie and a couple second-round picks. That's a lopsided trade.
Well, you got to feel bad for a guy who coaches Orlando.
Boy, don't I.
Congratulations to Brother Stan, by the way.
Yeah, I'm really happy for him. He did a great job at Miami. Getting a second opportunity, he'll do a great job there.
Robert Horry for three. In and out. Bowen, the offensive rebound. And the Spurs getting some second chance opportunities.
And the key to being a great defensive team, you can't give up second shot opportunities. Get it done defensively and then close out by gang rebound.
Duncan, good position. Triple team. Ginobili for three. Bang! 9-point lead, largest of the game.
So precise. Take the double team, get rid of the basketball, extra pass. You wind up with a high percentage. Good look at the rim.
Crowd wanted a palm. Now James just lost control. James spinning. Double team. Gooden again. Gooden having a nice game. 6 of 7 from the field. 10 points here in the third quarter.
Talk about the strength of LeBron James. Just a spin move sent Bruce Bowen into the first row.
Parker inside to Duncan. $18 for Duncan, 16 for Parker to go along with 7 assists. And this crowd on its feet. James for three, won't go. 1 for 10 from the field. This could be a dangerous time for Cleveland right now. Parker to the rim and gets the roll. Timeout, Cavaliers. First double-digit lead of the night. LeBron James just 1 of 10 from the field. This is only field goal, as the Spurs defensively have done it. And their big three of Duncan, Ginobili, and Parker playing well again. And he does it in the land of the Giants.
Here's what you love. He's third in the NBA in the postseason in points in the paint, averaging 9.9 per game, getting to the paint, adding that jump shot. Virtually, like I said, makes him unguardable.
James inside and gets the roll. LeBron James now attacking the basket, his second field goal.
And what they did, instead of putting him in a pick and roll, they ran him off a baseline screen where he curled and drove it to the rim.
Bowen shot halfway down. Here comes James. Poked away from behind by Ori, and Ginobili comes the other way. 3-on-2, Parker alley-oop to Duncan, but he can't get it to fall.
That might have been completed about 5 years ago. But here they bring James to the baseline. Now he's coming off screens. The entire defense can't focus on him, and now he's able to get it all the way to the basket, and a great finish with his left.
So the adjustment here from Mike Brown and LeBron James. Dangerous pass deflected by Ginobili. 10 on the shot clock.
It really is a better adjustment because he's catching the basketball and not staring down 4 other help defenders. It puts him in a position where he only has to beat 1 guy and get a good look at the rim.
The Cavs are shooting just 30% from the field. Daniel Gibson trying to get some offense going. Knocked out of bounds. Still Cleveland ball with 2 left on the 24. Mike Brown will call out a play.
I once asked Bruce Bowen, how are you such a great defender? What is your mindset? He said, I play like I'm playing one-on-one. I ignore everybody behind me and concentrate solely on the guy I am defending.
Bad pass stolen by Ginobili. Ginobili goes at Gooden. Hard foul. And they're going to call it in the act of shooting. And I think they'll discuss whether or not it's a flagrant. Mike Callahan bringing Steve Javie over to talk about it, whether or not they think it deserves a flagrant foul.
That was definitely a flagrant foul right there.
The definition of a flagrant foul is unnecessary contact. It has nothing to do with going for the head or going for the ball.
I don't know.
That replay, it doesn't look like it.
That's my fault. I thought he had grabbed him around the head.
And it is a flagrant foul. A flagrant 1. So that means 2 shots and the ball.
Well, you got to give Ginobili credit because he's a heck of an actor. Drew Gooden with the contact, but Ginobili also sold the contact.
But you know what? You know why it was a good call in my estimation was that left hand from Gooden came flying around, and that little windup there was unnecessary, and that's the definition of a flagrant.
Drew Gooden, you're back there guarding one of the best finishers in all of basketball. Your job is not to allow him to get a 3-point play.
Or get to his left hand.
Easier said than done with Ginobili. He misses the first again. After the second free throw, they'll take the ball out of bounds. As the lead is back up to 10. Gooden has had a terrific third quarter. At that time, getting called for the flagrant foul. Here's David Wesley, inactive, a veteran. Played for you, Jeff, in Houston. Is he an assistant coach now?
No, he's on the injury list, but I'll tell you what, he's worked his whole career to get to this point. What a thrill, even though he's not suited up, for a guy who last year, maybe this year, to end it in a finals run. I'm very happy for David.
And what's most impressive also, he's not a guy just sitting on the bench enjoying the ride. He is into this thing being part of a team.
Vaughn misses. Verajao the rebound. 10-point San Antonio lead. 2 minutes remaining in the third. LeBron James to the basket. Duncan the rebound.
Great early help by Ginobili on the baseline drive by James.
Ginobili to the basket. And Duncan the rebound. Takes his time, lost it. Ginobili gets it. And they'll reset. Verjao too aggressive on his defense. Commits the foul on Duncan. That's the third team foul and the second on Verjao.
Robert Horry does a great job of picking his spots. Caught the ball on the weak side. There's times where he would just jack up that three. Very patient and allowed Tim Duncan to get low post position.
See Gibson back in the game, guarding Ginobili. Vaughn to Ori. Bowen. Three-pointer. Puts it in. Largest lead of the game.
You can't ask Verjao to trap the pick and roll and then close all the way to the weak side corner. That's got to be Donyell Marshall's rotation.
Gibson on the drive, the floater. Can't get it to fall. Verjao keeps it alive, but it hit the baseline, and the Spurs will get it back as they're starting to take control of this game.
And what makes the Spurs so effective on the offensive end, there's no ball stoppers. There's nobody catching the ball and holding on to it. They're getting rid of it quickly and finding the open man.
Duncan, once again, makes his move on Verjao. A hit fake, the bank shot. 15-point lead. And Mike Brown has to call timeout. A 20-second timeout as the Spurs on a 10-2 run to take control.
Take this, take him down. Give me the tape. Let's go. Ready? Here we go. Let's go.
With 13 feet of standout, no other tape comes close. The Fat Max Extreme from Stanley.
Everything going the Spurs' way. Right now they lead 64-49. Under a minute to go here in the third quarter. Well, almost everything going their way. Tony Parker thought that Duncan made it. No, you missed it. What's wrong with you?
Are you kidding me? He says, you're better than that, Timmy.
That's a back-in-the-day play. Back in the day, Duncan would have finished that. He's 31 now, coming off a year with plantar fasciitis, the new disease of the NBA.
Marshall fires away. Can't get it to fall. The shooting woes continue for Cleveland. They're just 2 of 9 from three-point range.
I can't say enough about Bruce Bowen, though. He's a guy that your job is to be a stopper. You may get a touch, you may not, but he goes out, handles his business, and he is a crucial part of the success of the Spurs as any.
Shot clock winding down for Ginobili. Puts up a shot, falling away. Rebound, Jacques Bourne, and they'll hold it for the final shot of the period. Ori the fake. Puts it up, and off the mark. Ori wanted a foul. Well, that ends the third quarter, and a terrific one for the San Antonio Spurs as they extend their lead to 15. This presentation of the NBA Finals continues after this message and a word from our ABC stations. As we'll start with Bruce Bowen, once again doing a great job on LeBron James.
Good team defense starts with good individual defense. Here, Bowen contains him, but on the spin, Ori and Ginobili help. And even though Gooden makes the shot, it's tough. Here, James drives baseline. Ginobili over, almost outside the lane to give help on the trap of the box. A good sink by Finley, a good rebound. Wow, that's great defense.
And our fantastic four is LeBron James and the big three for San Antonio tonight. Well, what a great defensive job. That is the story right now of game one. The superb team defense of the San Antonio Spurs. Ginobili spinning outside the Bowen. Robert Ori for three. It's good. 18-point lead for the San Antonio Spurs.
so efficient, so precise. They make each other better on the defensive end by helping, and it's contagious. It takes over with the same mentality offensively. Bowen rewarding a spot-up shooter in Ori for an open look.
Verjao drives against Elson. Nice fake, shot blocked. But he also got a piece of the arm, and Verjao will shoot two as Elson picks up his first. Verjao a little shaken up as Duncan getting a rest. Verjao, as Jeff mentioned earlier, started off in Orlando but didn't play. Was a second-round pick of the Magic. Was acquired in that Gooden trade. Came to the United States. Didn't speak a word of English, but he took English classes. And with help from Zydrunas Ilgauskas, who's become a great friend of him, really helped him learn English. And he's actually become a terrific interview. He doesn't think he speaks it well, but man, oh man, he expresses himself well. He gives a lot of the credit to Ilgauskas.
And you know the first word he learned of English? Flop.
It's a good thing he didn't hang out with a bunch of guys I grew up with, because he still wouldn't be speaking a word of English.
His second word he learned is rebound, because he excels at that as well, as Gibson called for the foul.
And a great team defender. He's got such quick feet as a big guy. He's by far their best pick-and-roll defender as a big.
He's only 24, from a small town in Brazil. One of 5 kids, has a couple of brothers and sisters. One of his brothers played at West Virginia briefly. Gibson on the steal. Here's Donyell Marshall. Marshall inside, blocked by Elson. Oh, they're going to call a goaltend. Kenny Maurer signals 2 points as he hit it after it hit the backboard.
The play made by Gibson, denying Ginobili the pass from out of bounds, disrupt what they're trying to do, chase down the loose ball, gets the ball to Marshall, and he does a great job of attacking the rim.
Just over a minute gone by here in the fourth. If you're Cleveland, how do you deal with this deficit? How do you get back in the game?
Right now, if you're Cleveland, is about getting stops on the defensive end and trying to attack offensively. But there's plenty of ball game left in this for you to just fold tent. You have to stay solid and try to develop a mentality of getting stopped.
Meanwhile, Elson, second time this game, just tips it back. He took an inadvertent poke in the eye from Verjao. Vaughn to Ginobili, spots up for 3. Manu Ginobili from downtown.
And that's overhelp. Jock Vaughn's behind the basket. You don't come off the corner shooter off Ginobili to give support to Jock Vaughn.
Ginobili, Duncan, and Parker have 51 points. The Cavs team has 52. James, just not happening tonight, as he's now 2 for 13 from the field. And it's still going to be Cleveland ball, and we'll have a timeout. Tony Parker comes in. No timeout yet. My mistake. Vaughn, solid job off the bench. Gibson, oh, nice drive. Knifing through the defense.
And the Cavs win, lose, or draw, they're going to be able to take some things that they've been able to do so far in game 1 and put it to the test in game 2. There's been some good things, but there's also been some breakdowns on the defensive end.
Right now, 54 points. We're 2.5 in. Ginobili shot way off the mark. Marshall fires away. Tipped by Gibson, but Bowen has it. They're just 2 of 11 from 3-point range. And they've had some good looks.
Well, off the double team or the penetration of LeBron James, he's making plays for other guys. It's those guys that have to step up and knock those shots down.
Parker looks up at the shot clock. James contests the shot. Parker still knocks it down. 20 for Parker.
And that's good defense by LeBron James, but Tony Parker has already established a rhythm by attacking the rim early. He feels like that's a high percentage shot for him. Good contest, but too late.
And a reach-in foul call on Manu Ginobili. That's his second, and now we'll have a timeout. Been a frustrating game for Verjao and the Cavaliers. Not the case for the big 3 for San Antonio. 20 for Parker, 20 for Duncan, 14 for Ginobili, and a big lead for the Spurs. Difficult. Ball hardly went up before Duncan tipped it back. Parker with a hand in his face, not that time. And it goes out of bounds.
I tell you what, as a young team, sometimes you got to take a good punch to understand that the stakes have raised. This is game one. The Cavaliers, it's their responsibility after this game to take a look at the film and say, it's still a series. We have to make the adjustments, but be ready come game two.
Well, Cavs did that against Detroit, lost the first 2 games in Auburn Hills, and came back and won 4 straight against the Pistons. Those games, though, were close. Verajao on the tip-in. Right now, this one is a 16-point game.
But I like Pavlovic attacking the rim. Again, that might lead to misses, but you get second shots. They need more than LeBron James as a playmaker. San Antonio has Ginobili, Parker, and Duncan, who can make plays for their teammates.
Parker gets inside on a blocking foul. So Parker will go to the line. With 7:15 remaining and a comfortable 16-point lead. San Antonio's been playing very well throughout the playoffs. Beat Denver in 5 games in the opening round. And then that thrilling 6-game series against Phoenix. And then Utah in 5 to advance to their 4th NBA final in the past 9 years.
And one of the reasons why Tony Parker says he appreciates playing with Tim Duncan so much is because he can't be defended the way that they're defending LeBron James. Somebody else is on the floor that can take over on the offensive end. So that keeps defenders at home and allows Tony Parker to dominate the paint area and make plays.
Parker, the game's leading scorer with 22. Bowen, very physical with LeBron James. Here's the help. James fires away, knocks down the 3. Just his 3rd field goal and his first 3-pointer.
You know what you do if you're a coach? If you're Greg Popovich, clap and say, good shot. You don't change. If that's a shot you want him taking. Can he make it? Yes. But he has to continue to make it.
Parker inside.
There's his deceptive strength again. He drives, he seems slight, he doesn't look strong, but defenders are flying off him. He knocked Gibson back and then just laid the ball right in the hole.
Fearless going to the basket. James will try another 3. Does it again. Back-to-back threes for LeBron James. Cavs still down by 14. That's how many points James has.
Still plenty of time left. It's about getting stops defensively and give yourself a chance to chop away at this lead.
Parker again off the dribble. Knocked out of bounds with 4 left on the 24, and we'll have a timeout. Just past the midway point of the 4th quarter in a second half.
Well, there's a guy that I'm living in the hills because of him. My kids call him Uncle Patrick.
Of course, he played in the '94 finals when the Knicks lost to the Rockets. Had an 8-block game and tied an NBA Finals record. One of the great centers and a certain future Hall of Famer.
And I coached with him down in Houston for 3 years, and he got out of Dodge just in the right time before I got fired.
Duncan had to throw it up as the shot clock was winding down. Again, Cavs still have plenty of time. Only down 14 with 5:45, but it's been tough for them to score 14 over a long period tonight. Pavlovic lost it momentarily, knocks it down, and it's now a dozen.
You see the attention paid to LeBron James coming off pick and rolls. They trap him, they get the ball out of his hands. Pavlovic steps into a rhythm jump shot.
Verajao really battling to deny Duncan. The officials letting them play pretty physical basketball down low. Horry kicks it out. Parker open jumper. And Duncan the offensive rebound. Back up and in. "22 points and 12 rebounds for Duncan to go along with 4 block shots.
And that really takes a lot out of you. Verajao steps in for the charge, does not get the call. Tim Duncan, after good defense, gets a second shot opportunity and an easy lane.
Nice pass, James to Verajao. 3rd assist for James. Verajao in double figures with 10.
It is scary when you think about how good LeBron James is and also how good he will be for a long time to come. This guy is special.
He only has 3 assists, but his teammates have not been able to knock down shots.
but a lot of hockey assists where he's making the pass that leads to the pass that leads to the shot.
Bowen lost it, felt he got bumped. And here's Daniel Gibson. Pavlovich spinning inside, blocked by Duncan, number 5. He had a 9-block game earlier in the playoffs.
It's just solid help defense. Probably trying to back in the smaller Tony Parker, but helping the guy defensively. Duncan comes over from the weak side, says, get it out of here.
Excellent ball denial from Bowen. Pavlovich. Good on Ori. Good defense from Robert Ori, a very underrated defender. Point game, just under 4 to play. Bowen with a good look. Not that time. But Duncan, another offensive board.
Is there anything that Tim Duncan does not do on the floor? I mean, this guy, he's a scientist.
Parker, Ginobili, and a wave it off, an offensive foul. Bergeau steps in and draws the charge as Tony Parker picks up his first.
We should have a new stat.
Here we go.
No, listen. You know, you have field goals attempted. We should have charges attempted. Bergeau has put his body in front of the ball 5 or 6 times. He hasn't gotten a couple of the calls, but he has gotten a few of them. And these aren't flops. He's taken legitimate hits.
Well, he leads the team in charges, and as we said, has led the league in charges taken for 48 minutes. Doesn't play huge minutes. James kicks it out. Pavlovich inside, and a blocking foul called on Ori. And Sasha Pavlovich will shoot 2 with a chance to cut it to 10.
I love the way this kid has played. He's aggressive, he's attacking. Here he puts the ball to the ground, goes by Ginobili, and that's clearly the correct call. That's a block.
Pavlovich from Serbia and Montenegro, drafted by the Jazz, played 1 year in Utah. And now in his 3rd year with the Cavs, he's another one of those who's been feast or famine, but this year he developed some consistency. And the main reason he's played better defense, so Mike Brown giving him more minutes, and he's responded at both ends of the floor. A reminder, you can see every game of the finals right here on ABC, 8:30 Eastern. Game 2 Sunday right here in San Antonio. Then it shifts to Cleveland for Game 3 on Tuesday. Games 3, 4, and 5 will be in Cleveland on the 2-3-2 format. And then, if necessary, games 6 and 7 back here in San Antonio. Duncan and Pavlovich gets it. Couldn't, wasn't ready.
Good job by LeBron James containing Tony Parker, not gambling, keeping him in front of him.
Cavs trying to get back in the game. Robert Ori stripped by Gooden. Gibson ahead to Pavlovich, drives to the basket, up, and puts it in. Nice athletic move from Sasha Pavlovich, and it's single digits. A 13-4 run.
My goodness, did you just see that move? Catching the ball in transition, takes it away from Duncan, and finishes on the opposite side.
2.5 remaining. Will it be too late? Ginobili, stripped but fouled. And Manu Ginobili will go to the line. Well, we'll take a timeout before. Sasha Pavlovich, impressive move.
Incredible athletic move. Tim Duncan coming from the weak side, using the rim as a shield, finishing. That's a dunk. Tim Duncan, you're in the poster. Some would say that's a throw-in. I say that's a dunk. Pavlovich getting it done. Get in there. They get it done. From the top to the bottom, Tim Duncan arrived here, and it changed the entire environment.
You notice that? That's a panicking Yankee fan right now.
He was so hoping Schilling didn't get that no-hitter. I mean, it's gotten to the point, as we see R.C. Buford, the great general manager of the San Antonio Spurs, it's gotten to the point where he's rooting against the Red Sox more than he's rooting for the Yankees.
Meanwhile, the Spurs back up by double figures. This happened to them in the Utah series in both the first 2 games. Big leads. The Jazz made runs to make you think, okay, maybe they got a shot Parker, blocked by James. And then a foul on Ginobili, not a smart foul. LeBron James recovering to throw that one away.
Good job of getting back, and then says to Tony Parker, not on my watch. Some would say that's a goaltending, but LeBron James says that's a blocked shot. He catches it on the way up.
Yep, and it did not hit the backboard first. So a good clean block. 2 minutes to go, down 11. Gibson for three, puts it in. Daniel Gibson from downtown, and it's an 8-point game.
And that's the right play. The possession prior to that, LeBron James tried to make a home run play and thread the needle to Varejao in the paint. That time took what the defense gave him, found Gibson for an open jumper.
Ginobili across the lane, stripped by Gibson, but he gets it back. Shot clock down to 5. Parker on the drive, gets it to Duncan, stripped and knocked away. Gibson with the steal, his third of the game. James surveying the situation. Steps back for three, won't go. Those were the shots he was sitting in that 48-point game, but not tonight. He's 4 of 16.
And if he hits that shot, you say, wow. But in this position, that's not a good shot. You want to keep on picking them apart and get quality shots. Make plays for someone else.
Duncan, back to 10. What a turnaround. They could have cut it to 5 instead. It's a double-figure lead. Poked out of bounds by Ori. So it appears the Cavs will come up short here in game 1 as LeBron James going to the bench. 4 of 16 from the field, 14 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists. A spectacular defensive job from San Antonio.
And in this series, it could be the first to 80 wins every game because the defenses of both teams are solid. San Antonio has more offensive weapons.
Really what it comes down to is when the Cavs needed a basket, it was an off-balance fadeaway 3 for LeBron. The Spurs come back and pick them apart, pick and roll, high percentage lay-in for Dunk.
Gibson has shot the ball well, does it again. Gibson 6 of 8 from the field. They've got to get him more shots.
If I'm Mike Brown, not only do I give him more shots, but I give him more minutes on the floor.
The rookie with 14 points. And the Cavs obviously not fouling, down by 8. Gonna let this one finish. Too early to play this way, or as Parker cuts to the basket? Well, now it doesn't matter. And Parker with a chance for a 3-point play. What a game from Tony Parker.
I think the right play not to foul in that position because the game is basically over. Tony Parker still in attack mode, off the pick and roll, goes away from the screen, finishes in traffic, and gets the foul.
And the other defenders, besides James, have to learn from James on how they want to defend Parker. There, Gibson was pressuring up the floor. They've got to back it up so he doesn't get ahead of steam at the basket.
David Robinson applauding his former teammate, Tim Duncan. 24 points, 13 rebounds, 4 block shots, and 2 steals. Just another day at the office for Tim Duncan. That's what he's done his entire career.
And in the finals, this guy for his career is averaging 23 points and 15 rebounds. On the biggest stage, he continues to amaze.
Already has 3 finals MVPs. And his team has a game 1 victory in these finals. Gibson again. Good shooting from Daniel Gibson. 7 of 9 from the field, but the Cavs will come up short as the Spurs will dribble it out. They've now won 7 of their last 8 playoff games in this run, and they take game 1 of the 2007 NBA Finals.